What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents. This story is called, "You Can't Use Being Pregnant and Not Feeling Good Forever as a Reason Not to Watch My Kids for Free." This happened years ago when my husband and I lived on a military base and I ran an in-home daycare that was regulated through Child and Youth Services, or CYS for those who are fans of acronyms. We had one child of our own and it was a remote base, so jobs were scarce. So I figured this was a good option for me to work and be able to also stay home with our kiddo. The daycare spots were a shortage, and that meant I was full and even had a wait list. This also meant I could kinda pick and choose the kids I had in my care. For the most part, I had great kids and decent parents. I even became friends with one of the sets of parents, and that was my mistake. This mom, let's call her Karen, seemed to be normal, not entitled, when we first met. We even had her family over for barbecues on a couple of weekends, and things were good. During the time of having the daycare open, I became pregnant with our second child. I have issues with headaches, and when I'm pregnant, they get so much worse. Karen began asking me to babysit after hours for free, as friends, for her. I agreed once in exchange for her watching our son once in return, and she agreed. I watched Karen's kids, and she never followed through and watched ours. After that, Karen frequently asked me to allow her kids to stay late and not get charged, and also she would ask me to babysit after hours for free, and each time I would say no, and I used my headaches as a reason. Karen actually said, "You can't use being pregnant as an excuse forever." I said, no, not forever, but for about 9 months. And it was about this time I knew I would not be able to keep running my daycare after a couple of months because of the high-risk nature of my pregnancy. I started by informing the CYS and then put a letter together for the parents, and I gave them 2 months notice to find care. This was an additional 30 days over and above what is required in the contract. I wanted to be fair, and I knew it might be hard to find care. I was also releasing them from their contracts as soon as they could find care. They did not need to give me notice. I handed out the letters at pickup that day. Karen waited till the other parents left and tore up her letter with a smile. "Will you throw this away for me?" Sure, but you get the gist, right?" "Yeah, you're closing your daycare because you're pregnant and don't want to deal with all those other people." "No, I am closing because I have a high-risk pregnancy and my doctor says I shouldn't be chasing after all the kids, and I will have lots of appointments." "Yeah, but you can still watch kid 1 and kid 2 for me, and since you won't be a full daycare, you can do it for a lot cheaper." "Karen, I am closing my daycare." "Okay, then you can at least watch my kids for free while I find daycare and be my backup care." "No, I am sorry, Karen, but I am not doing that." "This is ridiculous. Women get pregnant all the time and you already have to watch your son, so you can totally watch my 2 kids too. Are you telling me you can't watch your son either?" "I am not going into this. I think it's time for you to find a new provider." "Fine, but I don't think I should have to pay you while I look." "You have to pay or I will stop watching your kids." Karen left with her kids. She kept bringing her kids, and when it came time for her payment, all of a sudden her husband came to get the kids and dropped them off and said Karen will be bringing the payment. This went on for 2 days, and then I told him that if I wasn't paid, I would not accept the kids into care and they would still owe me for the past due. Karen showed up on the 3rd day and wrote a check. This was normal, but it bounced, and that was not. I contacted CYS and let them know per the contract. I gave them an invoice with a $25 non-sufficient funds fee and a 48-hour notice to pay full in cash. Karen's husband showed up and paid, but he said Karen was going to be upset because she did not want to pay. I guess she felt I should be watching their kids for free since I am closing my daycare. I talked to her husband and said I feel it's best he finds new care as soon as possible, and that until he does, I would need to be paid in advance for the care. I had the kids for 2 weeks more. A funny, way later event that happened. After I gave birth to our daughter, this had to be about a year and a couple of months after closing the daycare, Karen called me. She wanted me to babysit her kids overnight so they could go to Las Vegas. to a military ball. Oh, did I mention she wanted me to do this for free? I said, no! You know what? OP's actions here were actually pretty good. She did not give the Karen a chance to think, oh yeah, this is absolutely pro bono. She, from the get-go, said, yes, I'll watch your kid if you watch mine eventually. This sets the standard for the friendship. You don't give favors out willy-nilly, okay? But alas, this is entitled parents, and these parents, they are not good on their word, so keep that in mind next time you deal with an entitled parent. At this point, I'm preaching to the choir. This story's called RSVP, Don't Just Show Up. Birthday parties aren't just free babysitting. My daughter was turning 7 and we were having a birthday party where we invited the entire class. We were hoping not everyone would come, but we also didn't want to exclude anyone. We had the party at our house, and no, we did not have a huge house. It was just a normal house with a normal city yard. But we did have a fenced lot, so that helped. We got a really big bounce house thing. It had a slide in the castle part. We ordered lots of pizzas and had cake and cookies. I made really cool goodie bags too. We sent out invitations with clearly marked directions that RSVP is required, and the due date for all RSVPs. Again, we were inviting 20 plus kids and needed a proper head count. This all is important information for the story. 13 kids RSVP'd and we were thrilled. It was, of course, all our daughter's good friends, some people that she played with sometimes, and then a couple that were just in her class. With this information, I got to go into full planning mode. I know I was going over the top, but we wanted it to be really cool. We had a costume party because her birthday is the week of Halloween. We had the house decorated with a haunted maze with animatronics and everything. The previously mentioned bounce house, and each kid was given a gift goodie bag with a cool toy and candy. It wasn't cheap dollar store stuff either. Not that there is anything wrong with the dollar store. An additional note that was on the invite. The party is from 12 to 2. Parents are encouraged to stay and enjoy the party with us. If you choose to drop off your child, please note we will need a contact number where someone can be reached during the party, and all parents must be back no later than 2 p.m. to pick up your child. Day of the party, it is 11:30 and kids start showing up. The early kiddos were some of our daughter's best friends. All the guests trickle in between 11:30 and 12:10. Here is why I am posting the story. We had 13 RSVPs. We had 19 kids show up. I only had 14 bags made, 13 for guests, 1 for the birthday girl. So you would think the math was easy, but it still wasn't adding up. 13 RSVP'd and showed up. 5 more classmates who didn't RSVP show up, but that left 1. Some entitled mother snuck a younger sibling in the house as she was leaving after giving me her phone number and left. We will refer to the sibling as younger sibling. I now have a roster. The kids are playing and having fun, but I am a stress monster trying to figure this out. I cross-referenced this kid with the parents who stayed and the ones who left and made sure we did have numbers for all parents who left. Thank God we did. I then talked to my husband and mom, who was there helping to get ideas. We order more pizzas to feed the additional kids. No additional parents stayed. Go figure, they didn't RSVP, and now they were basically using us for free daycare. We did have enough cake and goodies because I overdo most things. The only thing we didn't have were the gift bags, and I actually felt bad. I worried about how the other kids would feel, but we came up with a good fix. All the kids who RSVP'd would get their bags quietly on their way home. It sucked because the toys would have been fun for them to play with together at the party, but oh well. It was only about 15 minutes into the party and we thought we had it figured out. Until younger sibling peed all over her costume. Yes, she had an accident. No, she was not in a diaper. And no, when her entitled mother snuck her into my house, she did not leave a bag of extra clothes. We looked. I was already running around like a chicken with my head cut off. My mom stepped up and said she would help get her changed, but I had to find her something to wear. I ran to our daughter's room and grabbed stretchy pants since I was hoping those would fit since she was smaller. My mom gets younger sibling cleaned up. I try calling entitled mother to tell her she has to come get younger sibling now, but take a wild guess. Entitled mother doesn't answer, but I left her a message. The younger sibling went back to playing, and I couldn't make this up if I wanted to, but younger sibling peed herself again within 13 minutes. This time my mom said no, she was not cleaning her up, so it was left to me. Again, I run and get a pair, the last pair mind you, of stretchy pants, get her cleaned up, and now I am mad as hell. I tried calling entitled mother again. Still no answer. I continue to call every 5 minutes. At this point, I have to watch where younger sibling sits and everything because she could pee on anything. Thankfully, all the other moms were helping ask if younger sibling needed to go potty and kept taking her, but we were limiting the amount younger sibling drank. Finally, it was time for the party to be over, and I was so thankful. I was so stressed. I would never invite that many people again. When each of the entitled parents that didn't RSVP showed up to collect their kids, they asked if they had fun. Some asked if they got goodie bags. For those, I said if you would have RSVP, they would get one. I was glad to have them gone. Now, when entitled mother finally showed up at 2:10, I was not friendly. I informed her that her actions are inexcusable. Not only did she not RSVP, she snuck younger sibling in. She did not answer her phone, and now she was late. She is lucky I didn't call the police about an abandoned kid. I told her she would never be invited back, and I let the other parents know what she had pulled. We invited our daughter's good friends to stay and play and watch movies when everyone else left. They did, and everyone relaxed and had fun. First thing I gotta say, we gotta appreciate parents that go all out for their kids' birthdays. That's an insane party for a 7-year-old. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and complain that I have a crappy life or whatever, because I know for a fact that I have it pretty good compared to a lot of other people. My younger years, my birthday parties were pretty cool. However, as I got older, my parents started to give less and less of a crap. I'm not telling this story for pity, I know, I just think it's funny. But for my 16th birthday, okay, most people would throw their kids a sweet 16th birthday party and just go all out. And I know not everyone does that, that's more of a movie thing. This story's called She Can Have Whatever She Wants. Another tale from the stuffed animal store. I was the main showrunner when it came to parties at my location. For those who don't know, that mall teddy bear store actually runs parties, usually birthdays. This story requires some background knowledge on how these parties work, so follow along if you can. Basically, parties break down into packages where each kid gets a choice of animals and accessories for a flat rate. So for a basic bear, dog, and a t-shirt, the parents spend like $18 per kid. For more choices, an animal and a full outfit, it's $25, then $35, etc. Sometimes parents would pay for the 35 pack for their kid, but get everyone else a smaller package. That is not what happened in this story. Inevitably, we would get parents that brought their kid to a birthday party and didn't understand how this worked, and would tell their kid as soon as they got there to go pick an animal regardless of price. Usually this wasn't a big deal. I would just stop the kid, explain how it worked to the parents and group, and all was well. Until Big Karen came. She was Big Karen because on top of the usual warning signs of Karen, she was monstrously overweight. I don't mean in the plus size way, I mean this woman may have been over 600 pounds. Being overweight did not make her terrible though. Come with me on an adventure, my friends. 1 p.m. on a Thursday in the middle of July. Party group is starting to trickle in. I'm handing out name tag stickers for kids and explaining how the process works to parents who are laughing and smiling and being generally pleasant. Suddenly, Big Karen arrives. God, it was so hard to find this damn store. Finally, we're here. I tried not to wince as the parents in the group are pointedly looking away from Big Karen, hoping that it meant nobody knew her. Alas, her adorable child ran up and hugged the birthday girl, and so was given a name tag. Immediately upon receipt of the name tag, Big Karen began again. Alright, go pick an animal. Excuse me, ma'am, but that isn't how it works. She has to pick. Whatever, kid. She can have what she wants. I'll make up the difference. Let's ignore the fact that she called me kid for a moment. The parents, remember, didn't get the birthday kid a higher end bear. All kids got that 25 per person package. And here's this obnoxious woman trying to flex her wallet on a bunch of second graders. I firmly say, I'm sorry ma'am, but she can't pick anything she wants. I have the animals the kids are allowed to pick from in the basket over here.
I don't care. She's getting whatever she likes. I said I'd pay for it.
If you choose to get a bear outside the pre-selected options, you'll have to pay the standard pricing for it. Big Karen, barely listening at this point.
Fine.
She was warned. I informed birthday mom, and all was well. Big Karen was relatively obnoxious throughout the process, particularly during the heart ceremony, which is done in a big group when it's a party. She was literally yelling that it was stupid and a waste of time, and to just get on with it so the kids could dress up their bears already. It became clear quickly why she wanted to get this part, because once the accessorization commenced, she was flexing over everyone else once again.
You can have whatever you want.
Name of child.
These other kids have to get what
birthday kid's mom
can afford.
I was kinda stunned at this point because birthday mom looked like she might cry, but all the kids picked outfits in the budget while I ran around helping to dress their animals. Once we finished, the kids got taken to the front of the store. Birthday mom was thanked and finished paying. All was well as she took all the kids to sit in the food court for lunch. All of them except for Big Karen and her brood.
All right, let's go.
What?
We're going to sit for the birthday party.
No, ma'am, you chose to get your bear separately from the party. You still need to pay for the bear and accessories.
What?
At this point, she was pre-rung on the register and I had her total. Yep, your total it was over $100.
That's outrageous,
Manager out of the blue says, ma'am, you did agree to purchase your animal outside the party. If you want to keep it with all the accessories, you'll have to pay for it. Karen was real upset about that, but she did pay up and go off grumbling. The party in the food court was much quieter when she arrived. Mostly, I feel bad for the mom, who probably had to scrape together to pay for the party in the first place. Oh, okay, I have some choice words for that. Like I said, we need to appreciate parents that go all out for their children. The mother of the birthday girl, she paid a lot of money to make these kids satisfied with the birthday party, and birthday parties are an ultimate status symbol for little kids. Every freaking kid is walking out of there with a badass stuffed animal, and that's because of the birthday kid's mom paying as much as she did. Okay, that is something we have to appreciate, okay? Birthday mom flexed for her kid the right way. Karen, on the other hand, ooh, no. I'm sure you could explain away that disgusting behavior by, saying, oh, she's obviously got some self-esteem issues, but honestly, no excuse for that kind of behavior. Birthday mom was out there trying to make everyone have an amazing time, and then Karen had to show up and ruin everyone's time with her. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.